All right. So we are talking about BABOK, which is nothing but the body of knowledge for the business analysts. Okay, so the latest version of BABOK is version 3, which is in effect from September 30th, 2016. And from that day, IIB has also changed the structure of certification. Earlier, they used to have only two certifications, CCBA and CBAP. And now they have 4 levels of certifications. So they are shown on the screen: ECBA, CCBA, CBAP, and CBATL. ECBA is for entry-level business analysts, people who are coming from different backgrounds, so people who are directly entering into business analysis. No experience required. For the next levels, there are different levels of experience also required. For CCBA, approximately 3 years as a business analyst. For CBAP, you need to have 5 years of experience. And for CBATL, you need to have 10 years of experience as a business analyst. Just certain facts about BABOK version 3. It has taken 3 years to make. There are 70 plus authors who were involved in creating BABOK guide. Multiple countries, multiple industries, lot of reviewers. Now they have added a few new things into the BABOK guide. Earlier, it was not there. For example, perspectives. So earlier, business analyst specifications were more like absolute in terms of you can apply it as you wish. But now they have added something called perspectives. That means they have given different dimensions to the business analyst's body of knowledge. So how do you apply business analysis skills in agile methodologies, for example? So the architecture of the book comprises of 5 things: the core concepts of BABOK, the knowledge areas which are divided into tasks, the competences, techniques, and the perspectives. These are the 5 things which comprise the entire book. It's a big book. The version 3 has more than 500 pages. All right. And they're divided, and full details are given for each and everything in the body of knowledge for business analysts. Let's quickly look at what all the key components of the BABOK guide mean. So the core concept, basically, it's how the business analysis body of knowledge is thought of. What is the core concept? What are the key ideas on the basis of which they have thought about a business analyst's role and responsibilities? From the core concepts, they have come out with 6 knowledge areas. So these are the key 6 knowledge areas to succeed as a business analyst. Each of the knowledge areas has been divided into tasks, which are more objective in nature. Knowledge area is like a more generic concept. Tasks are more objective and comprehensible. For each of the knowledge area or the task, there are certain competency levels which are required, which deals with knowledge, personal qualities. That means soft skills, hard skills, technical skills. All of that are part of the underlying competencies. Some examples of competencies: analytical thinking and problem solving, and communication skills. Then there are associated techniques to perform these tasks. For example, backlog management, which is more for agile methodology, where you'll have requirements captured as backlog. So how do you manage the backlog? That's one of the techniques. So there are 50 techniques mentioned. You don't need to do all of them. Neither we can cover all of them in any course. But some of them, which are very critical, we are going to cover. And then finally, perspectives. So the role of the business analyst has to be seen in different perspectives, depending on where it is going to be performed. One of the perspective is for agile methodologies, because agile is something which is getting adopted pretty fast in IT industry. So what are the core concepts? These are the 6 core concepts for business analysts. Okay. So when you look at these core concepts, it might look very abstract to start with, but slowly we'll come to understand each one of them as we go along in the course. So right now, it's not necessary that you understand all of them, but I will just try to give you a very broad level understanding. What do they mean? Okay. So the business analysis starts with the concept of a change. And the concept of change is relating to an organizational need. So an organization needs something. They want to go for an automation of a business process, or they want to implement some software system which can make them more efficient. That's the business need. The business needs trigger changes, and that change is typically a software project or a software application. And that change is carried out by implementing certain sets of solutions, which may not be always software. There could be some other things also associated with it. So there is a need which triggers a change. Change is satisfied or addressed by having solutions. Now, these 3 things have to be looked at in the context of 3 things: stakeholders, the business value, and the context. So for example, there could be multiple organizations which can go for a customer relationship management solution. So CRM is something which is not unique to an individual organization. Multiple organizations have CRM solutions or ERP solutions or an e-commerce website. There are multiple sites, but each one of them are different, or rather is different. They don't necessarily have the same sets of features, same sets of outcomes, same sets of approach to achieve the same task. That is because the stakeholders are different. They have their own preferences. They have their own thought process about how a business solution gives value to them. What is their expectation from the system? So needs actually converts into value. What is the value which the different associated people who are going to be beneficiaries of that system, for example, the end user, for example, the head of marketing and sales, the CEO, the other CEOs, what exactly they're looking for as an outcome of that solution. And finally, the context. There could be multiple contexts in which a particular solution can get implemented. So that's the basic idea behind creating this book called BABOK. There are 6 knowledge areas as we discussed, and these are shown here. So they are very broad topics. For example, we can look at there's something called elicitation and collaboration. There's requirement lifecycle management. There's business analysis, planning and monitoring, and requirement analysis and design definition. So there are various knowledge areas which broadly defines the entire spectrum of business analysis. You may not be familiar with all of them to start with. So as we are going to see in the later part of this presentation, what is the coverage for each one of them as far as ECBA is concerned, that is the entry-level business analysis certification. As we move up the value chain in terms of certifications, the weightage of each one of these increase. And we need to have more in-depth understanding of the concepts for high level of certifications. These are the 5 perspectives which have been considered in the BABOK book. So information technology as a generic perspective, then agile, business architecture, process management, and BI. BI is nothing but analytics. IIBA's mission is to kind of promote the business analysis profession, but the basic idea is to have kind of create a skill set which can deliver better business values or better business outcomes. That's the mission with which they are trying to work. Now, what is the scope and coverage for ECBA? So this is the coverage and this is the scope. So from the knowledge area perspective, we can see that three of them are very critical for ECBA: elicitation and collaboration, requirements lifecycle management, and requirement analysis and design definition. These are the three key knowledge areas, and it covers almost 64%. Okay, the others are very limited because at the entry level, you may not need all of those knowledge areas. In terms of the generic knowledge, there are certain other percentages which are shown, like techniques has a higher percentage in terms of you need to know certain techniques. So it has 12.5% weightage. And then others are in the range of 5 to 3%. Okay. Now, this scope distribution or the coverage distribution indicates that in the certification exam, the questions will come in the pattern or the distribution shown here. So if elicitation and collaboration has 20% weightage, so out of 100 questions, 20 questions will come from that particular area. Some questions, just to give you an idea as to what can you expect in the ECBA certification exam. So this is an example which says it's important for a business analyst to know the role of stakeholders in order to, there are multiple choice questions. You need to select one. Here the answer is understand sign of authority. Then there is one more question. Now these questions directly come from the BABOK book, concepts written in the book. There is no, when you go up and let's say you look at the CCBA and CBAP certification exams, there are case studies. There are situations given in those questions for those certification levels. For ECBA, this is more like a straightforward testing of whether you have read the BABOK guide or not. Okay, so questions are much simpler, and the choices are also very clear, and they don't try to confuse you with the similar sounding concepts. All right, so any questions on BABOK? All right, okay.